Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been enjoying the videos recently. I thought it'd be slightly different to do more extended talky type videos with people and friends within karting, and hopefully we've got a few more coming up which I'm sure you will enjoy. So the topic of today's video, and I haven't done one of these talky videos for a while, mainly because there's not been much to talk about, but a few people have asked me about what my thoughts are on electric cars. I think someone even invited me to go and test one. Whether they were serious or not, I don't know. And there was a few other bits and bobs where it started to pop up a little bit more. And there's various people saying, you know, we've got to secure the future of kart racing. We've got to embrace electric and that kind of thing. And I have my kind of doubts about the rationale behind that, and I'll explain why. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on it. You know, you might find it interesting, you might not, whatever. But I hope I've got a bit of slightly unique perspective on it, because I have in the past been involved in kind of eco movements and that kind of thing, though I do have my issues and I've expressed them very vehemently with Extinction Rebellion and that kind of stuff. So the first proposition to put forward about electric karts is they're quiet and that's better for circuits and that kind of thing. And there's a certain validity to that because circuits do find themselves with noise issues. And it's hard to argue against that. However, what people don't talk about with sound, and we've all watched electric racing, whether it be Formula E or, I mean, Bercy in 2011 when you had the electric karts for that. It is bereft of kind of something that's hard to articulate, whether people, no matter how hard they try, a field of silent cars isn't as viscerally exciting, and there's good reason for that, and it's a real, people like to dismiss it and go, well, it's better than nothing, but music has a very specific effect on the brain, and there are neuroscientists whose career now is based on studying music. We understand that music has a real tangible effect on our mood, our emotions, and who we are as humans. You know, music in a sense doesn't have any real tangible benefit to humans. Like, you can remove music from humans and it wouldn't really affect our existence materially, but for some reason we all understand that it would be a real kind of loss to who we are as humans, right? We understand it on an emotional level. So when someone says, you know, about sound and dismissing the importance of it, I don't think they understand the gravity of what they're saying. Sound is fundamental to humans and how we, and it affects our emotions. So when we talk about V12s, V8s, and V10s, and whatever people really sort of vibe with, and with karting 100cc engines, there is it creates a real tangible physical effect within the brain. It stirs emotions, and that's not something you can dismiss. And if you remove that from a sport, that aspect to it, and also it helps spectators communicate with the drivers that they're watching, because you can hear their inputs, you can feel it, and it becomes a you know, for want of a better word, a sort of a religious experience if you're into that kind of thing. So this idea that removing sound is not really a big deal, I don't particularly find a very good argument. I don't think people understand the actual loss of that from a sport. And that leads me into the cultural element of it. Now, when I talk about culture, now if you look at Red Bull Motorsport recently, the YouTube channel, they've done a rebuild of a CR500. So if you're into dirt bikes, you'll understand what I mean. It's like this old bike from the 80s and 90s that was 500cc two-stroke, and it's a real sort of, I don't know what it is, but there's something about that sort of bike, the 500 two-strokes, it really gets people interested, right? The culture of two-stroke, the history of it, you know, because these engines aren't just engines. They're like relics of a religion. They're artifacts. They're hard to describe, but they're monuments of our passion for the sport. And as you can see behind me, I've got a TT75. I've got a Mapster MXL. You know, in 30, 40 years' time, I'm not going to have a Duracell battery on the shelf. You know, so these objects themselves are emblematic of a further culture, and two-stroke culture, and to some extent four-strokes, and if you like, your rotaries. So there's a culture around two-stroke that is more, and you can attach it to four-stroke, but I'm a two-stroke karter. There's more to it than mere propulsion. There's, you know, if you go on YouTube, there's a ton of like restoration videos, and these attract huge interest. Like Red Bull didn't just do the Red Bull straight rhythm and make it two-stroke for a laugh. They understand that propulsion is greater than just merely going forward. Electric vehicles are very good at moving forward at pace, but they're kind of one-trick ponies. Once you've, like, I've driven a Tesla P100D, and it's a good bit of, you know, kit, but beyond the acceleration, once you've done it a few times, it's devoid of anything more than that. And the electric engines will never, electric propulsion will never have, in my opinion, that cultural depth that internal combustions have. And I think that's a really significant thing, because it's that culture, that layer, that is the foundation of our sport. The tuners, the spectators, the way they feel when you drive, the vibration, the smell. You know, like smell and sound are, I mean, especially smell, because it's one of our first senses developed. I think it's right in the depths of the brain is our sort of sensory organs of the brain, for want of a better word. It's mad. I should know this because I've co-written a book on brains of race drivers. But these senses elicit real emotion. And this is the kind of thing when people are talking about electric and that, and they go, oh, but if, you know, it's quieter. And I'm like, you don't realise what you're losing. It's monumental. It is culture. It is sound. It's the very essence of being human. And that might sound a bit evangelist, but it's kind of what I feel about it. And then people will come at me and go, what about the environment? And I've heard this a few times, like councils won't even consider if it isn't electric based, and a lot of eco talk. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of that is quite hollow, and I don't take it particularly seriously. And I'll expand on that. So for me, so I've been vegan 10 years. I have gone to marches. I've been involved in eco groups. I mean, more on the animal rights stuff, but not particularly eco. But I've been around those people because it's all, you know, everybody's in that world is communicating with each other. And I personally, they do not care whether you're racing an electric car or a V12, because so if you're trying to placate that group with this environmental talk, they're not going to buy it. Like with Formula E had problems in Switzerland with an eco group that they didn't want them turning up. You know, these big series are still travelling around the world. You know, motorsport is discretionary, and it promotes individual travel. You know, individualism. The eco groups tend to not like this. So if you think that a race circuit can get built now because it's going to be electric, you're in dreamland. Because I know I could easily go, right, it's environmentally damaging, wildlife's going to be harmed, etc., etc. Right? So in my view, this electric revolution is not going to make a huge difference to karting. All it is going to shift the focus away from maybe sound to another focus, and I'm going to get on that now. So say to me, if you're going to ask me, and I think someone asked me if I wanted to test a kart, and I put a condition on it. I'm not interested in electric karts unless the people supplying them are vegan. Don't talk to me about eco-friendliness when you're tucking into a burger. I don't care. Like, if you really want to do eco-friendly karting, make the paddock vegan, and we all race karts that already have been built and don't require to be transported, don't require to be made. And in addition to that, you're covering them in plastic, and then you're throwing tyres away after every race or whatever. Like the plastic waste in karting is horrendous. It's horrendous. So, like, we talk about eco-friendliness, and then the next minute it's like, oh, you've got to cover your karts in plastic. Like we have people going, you know, getting cancelled for drinking an Evian bottle, but you're going to talk to me about eco-friendliness when I don't know how many Evian bottles it would take to make the pod set on a car. So I find all that kind of talk almost nonsensical, because I would rather someone go vegan and race a historic two-stroke, because I've got any plastic pods. The carts already exist and don't require to be built, you know. So I know that's kind of a weird way to look at it, but, you know, electric cars still need to be built, they still need to be transported and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not particularly excited about electric cars from an environmental standpoint. And so to be honest with you, if people are trying to get certain new circuits built on the back of electric stuff, I'm not really that interested in that either, especially in the UK. We've got plenty of circuits. I'd rather people look at where you can take a kart to race. Think of it in rather than having to concrete over some habitat or whatever. So in terms of eco-friendliness, like, to me, I'd rather the governing bodies or whoever, if they were really serious about it, and I'm sort of sceptical that they are, because I don't see a big movement for, you know, plant-based eating in the paddock, because I know that most people aren't gonna, it's not gonna wash with most people. Oh, go eco-friendly with an electric car. It's not. It doesn't. To me, there's a lack of authenticity about the eco message, so I don't take it very seriously. So now now I'm being sort of hyper negative about electric propulsion and stuff, and I know there are maybe some advantages to it. So to give a bit of balance, I think that if electric karts are going to work, it's going to have to be a bottom-up rather than a top-down thing. And when I say bottom-up, I mean youth-led. If it's the old boy network trying to impose two-stroke electric on everybody, I think there will be an inherent lameness to it. Because I know it just seems a bit the what people are saying. It doesn't ring true to me. Like, I don't like being lectured about eco-friendliness and all that by people that are tucking into a burger. Like, I just dismiss it almost immediately. Like, don't talk to me about the future if you're eating meat. Like, I just find it nonsensical, right? So, but if it's youth driven and the carts can be made a lot lighter, because the weight thing is an issue, then maybe I can see how it would work. But it's got to come from youth, in my opinion, for it to have real traction. Because I'm getting to that point where I'm going to be one of the old boy networks. So if the youth come at me and go, no, we're going to do it this way, then I'm up for that. But the other way around, I'm not so much up for that. Which is kind of a weird way to look at it. So all in all, I think with electric talk, I would say I would rather there be a movement for people to start eating plant-based within motorsport than trying to force feed us new karts being built, new batteries being built, freaking covering these karts in plastic. Like, that to me, I'm just like, if you really want to help, let's do the plant-based thing, let's promote that. But they won't. I know, because it's a bit obscure. But I honestly believe that would be a much more beneficial thing for the environment than trying to get us to run electrics. I think, but the main thing that I'm worried about is the cultural loss. You know, it's like removing music from people. You know, you wouldn't dream of doing that, and you would understand it. We understand how important culture is. It binds us. It means we watch videos, old school videos. It means we engage with the past of motorsport. It gives us that lineage, that history. So that's my thoughts on it. I would love to hear what you think, whether you disagree with me. I know it's a bit obscure talking about the vegan thing, but to be honest with you, I get tired of people talking to me about electric karts or electric racing, and then, you know, it's like, well, I am trying to reduce. I'm like, look, if going vegan ain't an issue, it's better good for the environment, and then we can all race V12s. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Like, eat plants, race V12s, be happy. And I think we should maybe, I don't know, I think that's how I look at it. But if you have an opinion, let me know below. If you like what we do at Karting One, what we're doing with the videos and stuff, you know, you can support the channel. We've got some merch, which you can check it out below. Oh gee, I'm getting a bit chubby. So yeah, that's a t-shirt, and hopefully I'll get some more designs on there at some point. So yeah, thanks for watching. We've got hopefully some more interviews coming up. And again, I subscribe to the channel, all that kind of stuff. But I'd really love to hear what you think about what I'm saying, whether you think I'm wrong on the environment, whether, you know, that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we've got some new interviews coming up soon as well.